Okay. Devika, write your roll number here. Okay, Devika, fine. But okay. Now you can start writing your roll numbers. Okay. Try to listen what I am informing in the class, huh? Because there are a lot of things I have to inform in the class. Um, so listen carefully. I know one or two are there attentive in the class, not other else, because that is clear to me. But anyway, whoever is present in the class and are listening, try to listen it carefully. Yes, so here it is, the question. Yes. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now look, this is the question maybe from, I cannot remember. Yes, this is from the model question paper. Um, Look at the question. This is the cost function. A particular cost function is given to you. Find out the variable cost. So what is the variable cost? First of all, these type of questions are coming regularly at the university level. So when you are writing the cost, you have to mention, for example, okay, what is the variable cost? Tell me what is variable cost from this cost equal function.
Q square.
Q square.
So here comes half marks deduction. Why? Because Q square is very much correct.
Unit.
Then after you have to write unit. Yes. Q square unit. The marks may be 1 for the question, the variable cost. For variable cost, full marks is 1. So you have to write Q square unit. For Q square, half marks. For unit, another half. So remember, try to mention the unit. But in case of marginal cost, there is no unit you can understand because it is only the change. So there you do not mention unit, but otherwise you have to write that unit, UNIT. Okay. Now what is fixed cost? 1. What is average variable cost? Q square by Q. So Q, this is unit free. Average fixed cost, 1 by Q. This is also unit free. Average cost, Q square plus 1 divided by Q. Marginal cost, DCDQ, that is 2Q. And depict them in your diagram. So you have to draw those in diagrams. Okay. So I think the diagram portion will be easier. Once you get the value, then it will be easier. Now look at question number 2. Do you have any question with question number 1?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Before going to question number 2, let me ask another question to you. When your class will be over regularly, for example, tomorrow, when you will get all of your classes over, that is including your general. Tomorrow, when your class will be over, CC and GE.
Ma'am, 1:30.
After that, there will be no class for everybody or only for you.
No, ma'am. After that, we don't have any class.
So about your G, when you are getting your GE?
Ma'am, it held on Mondays.
Okay, all the G is on Monday.
It's only
All
on the Monday. Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then tomorrow I will take double period, huh? Because Friday again I have to go to the college and I am not able to take the class. But it is not very good to not to take each and every day, each and every week Friday's class. So this is not at all a good one. So I am going to take Friday's class because tomorrow I have a class with you at this time, no? So then after I will continue my class so that I will take a double period and I can cover my Friday's class there. Okay. So is it clear to you? Tomorrow I am going to take two classes from 12:30 to 2:30 and I will not take my Friday's class. Is it clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I hope there will be no GE class on that time as you are informing me. Okay, so now look at question number 2. Again, the same cost function. Find the supply function in terms of Q as a function of P and depict it in a diagram. So you have to find the supply function. Can you do this? Once you have the cost function, from there you have to find out the supply function. Can you do this?
And the MC function.
Yes, the MC curve. MC curve, MC is equal to P. This is how you have to derive. MC is equal to P. Because look, the Q as a function of P. So MC will be 2Q, that will be equal to P. So Q is equal to P by 2. That will be the supply function. Okay. Now look at question number 3. Explain the relation of long run average cost and returns to scale. Very easy. Diagram, you have to draw that U-shaped diagram, LSC, and then the downward. On the downward, you have IRS or DRS?
IRS.
IRS. At the minimum of your SE, you have CRS, then after it is DRS. Okay. And then it depends. If the full marks is 2 here, then this much is okay. But if the full marks is 4 or more, then you have to explain.
Ma'am, one thing, like this question has different approaches. I can either show that it is a homogeneous production function mathematically and then I will do it, or I can either draw the diagram or explain the answer. So which one to follow?
Anyone, and we can follow. And just go, let me go. Where is that? Just a minute. Oh, this is the production. Just a minute. Where is the cost? These are all short run. Yes, now the long run. Relation between long run cost, ISO cost, cost minimization, equilibrium, mathematical, lambda. Let me just check. I think I have done functional. Here comes returns to scale. Okay. Look here, yes. Returns to scale and the shape of LSE. This is how you can explain. This is another way to explain. Look at this. Returns to scale, if it is IRS, then the functional coefficient is greater than 1. And if it is greater than 1, by definition, what is functional coefficient? It is the proportional change in output when all inputs are changing by the same proportion. Okay. So by definition, it is greater than 1 for IRS. And if it is that, functional coefficient is equal to LMC by LMC, which is greater than 1. And then after you are getting this downward sloping portion of your LSE. Okay, this is another way to explain the relation between returns to scale and shape of LSE. For that, you need 2 more things before going to this page. First one is the definition of functional coefficient. And the second one is the relationship between the functional coefficient and LSE, LMC. Only this part. So first of all, what is functional coefficient? And then we know functional coefficient is equal to LSE by LMC, and then start this. So this is another way to explain. This is absolutely mathematical. This is also you can use. Okay. So where is that? Yes. Okay, so there are different approaches. You can apply any of them or combination of that depending on the full marks. If it is only 2 marks, then don't go for all those mathematical formation and everything. Just draw the line, mention where you are getting which type of returns to scale, and done. And if it is more than 2, hopefully it is more than 2, it will be 4 or more than that, then you can apply any of these mathematical approaches. Okay. Question number B. What happens to LRAC if there is technology improvement? Tell me what happened. What happens to long run average cost if there is technological improvement? What will happen? Any
Ma'am, it will shift downwards.
Yes, it will shift downward. It will shift downward because your average cost is falling. With change in the total, with the same total cost, you can produce more now. So what is your average cost? Total cost divided by the total unit produced. So as your denominator is falling, so as your denominator is increasing, the ratio is falling. That means in the long run, average cost will fall. That is the answer. Okay. Now look at the C. What is the minimum efficient scale of production at LRSC? Oh, this is very simple. What is the minimum efficient scale of production at LRSC? What will be the answer?
Ma'am, I could not understand the question. What is minimum efficient scale of production? What is that?
Minimum efficient scale, that means CRS. At the minimum of LRSC, you have the minimum efficient scale
Oh.
where it is CRS, constant returns to scale. Question is indirect, but actually the answer is simple. So this is the question. Now, do I have any more question from here? No. Okay, let's go to my next one, where it is. This is probably from university. Yes, these are from the university question papers. Look at question number C. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sunita has collected the following information about Alpha Corporation: MPL, MPK, PL, PK. Okay. Explain why these data prove that Alpha Corporation is being run inefficiently. Bolo to. Why? Answer is actually given. It is working inefficiently, but you have to explain why.
Ma'am, the MPL by MPK ratio is lesser than the PL by PK.
Yes.
So here the MPL by MPK ratio is 2/3 and W by R, that is PL by PK, is coming as 2. So MPL by W is lesser than MPK by R. So the firm will have to keep on employing more labor capital until the MPL by W equals MPK by.
Yes, very good. So he has given answer of both the questions. Explain why this data is inefficient. So that is proved because MPL by MPK is not equal to PL by PK. So it is inefficient. And how could improve the efficiency? Here you have to employ more capital because MPL by PL is 1/3 and MPK by PK is 1. So as 1/3 is less than 1, so you have to employ more of Just a minute. What is coming? MPL by PL is less than MPK by PK. Yes. So you have to employ more of labor, right? You have to employ, what is MPL by PL? 1 by 3. And what is MPK by PK? It is 1. Yes. So MPL by PL is less than MPK by PK. So you have to employ more labor so that MPL will improve, and at the same time you have to employ lesser amount of capital so that MPK will fall. ठीक बोला?
Ma'am, I think capital should be increased.
No. Yes. I'm just wrong. Yes. MPL by L is less. So here you have to improve MPL by L by reducing labor employment. So reduce labor employment and increase capital employment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so that is the way to improve the efficiency. Now the next part, is the farm's expansion path always linear? No, definitely no, it's not. Can you call an expansion path a producer's counterpart of a consumer's price consumption curve? Can you remember the concept of price consumption curve, PCC? When the price is changing, how equilibrium consumption is changing. This is your PCC. And expansion path is what? Expansion? No. Expansion path is a type of income consumption curve in that sense. Because in case of expansion path, you are changing labor and capital, right? You are changing the amount of labor and capital. Your total cost is increasing given W by R. So the ISO cost lines are parallel. Can you remember all those? I'm telling as if you know everything. You can remember everything. Can you remember? Or I can go back to my slide again. দাঁড়াও খুঁজি। Yes. That is expansion path. Just a minute, wait. Yeah, here comes the expansion part. Yes, this is the locus of combination of cost minimizing values of labor and capital corresponding to parametric variation of output level. Okay, so what is happening here? Look, your ISO cost, these are ISO cost line. Can you remember these lines similar to the budget line? These are called the ISO cost lines. Okay, these are called ISO cost lines, and this is this curve called the isoquant. So you are getting different equilibrium points when your total cost is increasing continuously given W by R. So that is why these isocost lines are parallel to each other. Okay. So these lines are parallel to each other. You can draw another line here. You can draw another line here, and corresponding to each line, you are getting one equilibrium point. Okay. Isocost and isoquant. Okay. So if you join all those equilibrium points, this is called your expansion point. So it is very similar to our income consumption curve. Na? In case of income consumption curve, given prices of the commodities, my income is increasing and the corresponding equilibrium. And here what is happening? Here my total cost is increasing given prices of two inputs. So expansion path, if you want to say, expansion path is similar to income consumption curve. In expansion path is not similar to price consumption curve. Do you agree with me or any problem you have? Is there any problem? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, then tell me your problem. You forgot expansion path, na?
No, ma'am. Remember.
Okay. You are the only one, but other students are silent, so it may possible that they cannot remember expansion path. Quite possible. It's not something abnormal. So that is why I showed you that expansion path portion. Okay, let me do one thing. I am discussing so many problems. Let me do one thing. Tomorrow, as I have said that tomorrow I am going to take 2 classes. So there, I will just revise my slides of production and cost. Okay, I will just revise. I will do nothing new. Just revise my production and cost units, whatever I have discussed with you in short. Definitely, when I discussed everything with you, it is not of 2 hours. In maybe 10 hours time, but here I am going to take it 2 hours. In short, I will review everything. If you have any query, just ask me there. Stop me and ask me. I will show all the slides which I prepared for your class for production and cost. That I am going to discuss tomorrow. But here, the expansion path is not like production consumption curve. I totally disagree with this last part of the question. The expansion path may be similar with the consumption, income consumption curve, ICC, not with PCC. Okay.
I can see the supply curve as the counterpart of consumer's price consumption curve.
Supply curve, yes, supply curve. Actually, from the price consumption curve, from the price consumption curve, we have derived the demand curve, right? And in case of expansion path, from the expansion path, you can derive the supply curve. From the expansion path, you can derive the supply curve. Because for different, no, not in that sense. From the expansion path, you can
So from
derive
the
the
expansion
total
path,
cost.
total
No,
cost.
from the, yes.
No.
I cannot hear you who are talking. Okay, what I am telling that from the expansion path, you can find the total cost curve. Look where it is. Yes. From the expansion path, this is the expansion path. What you are doing? You are changing the total output corresponding to different change in total cost. And what is your total cost? Total cost is like this. What is your total cost? For total cost curve is showing this. Corresponding to different level of output, what will be your total cost? So in this way, from expansion path, you can derive the total cost curve for the long run. Okay? But it is not at all related with your price consumption curve. Now let me go to another one. Yes, look at this question. Suppose a chair manufacturer is producing in the short run. When equipment is fixed, okay, the manufacturer has observed that as the number of laborers employed by him increases from 1 to 7, that means 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, the number of chairs produced are 10. That means first labor is producing 10, 2 laborers are producing 18, 3 laborers are producing 24 like this, up to 25. Does the production function exhibit diminishing returns to labor? What do you think?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Yes, yes. First worker is producing 10. 2 workers are producing 18. That means per worker it is 9. 3 workers are producing 24. So 1 worker is 8. So marginal product is falling. So first answer of the first question is yes, there is diminishing returns to labor. Question number 2. Has the marginal product of labor ever been negative in the production function? Yes, why not? It may be negative. And it is negative here. Look, for 6 units, it's 28, and for 7 units, it's 25. So total product is falling. So you can understand, here comes the negative marginal product. What might cause such negativity? Tell me answer of this part. What might cause this negativity?
Ma'am, the total product curve hits the maxima at the neighborhood of 30, Q equals to 30. So after that it starts falling as a result of this the
Why? No, they are asking why. Why?
Why? Because employing more than 5 units of labor. Yes, 5 units of labor is becoming economically irrational because after that the marginal product is becoming negative.
Yes, that means there may be some congestion inside the production unit. That is why their marginal product is falling. Their efficiency is falling. Now look at question number 3. Can you identify the type of returns to scale the following production function exhibit?
CRS.
Yes, this is CRS. If you increase labor and capital by lambda proportion, your Q will increase by lambda proportion. So it is CRS. It is CRS. Very good. Consider the cost function. Find out again. Look, find out the average cost. Q square plus 1 divided by Q. That will be the average cost. Marginal cost will be 2Q. And depict them in one diagram. The same type of question, as I say, this type of questions are coming regularly at the university level. Find the supply function, again the same question. I find the supply function and depict it in a diagram. So we did it. This question is actually from the model question paper. Okay, no other question from this year. Yes. Now this is the next part. State with brief reasoning whether the following statements are true or false. Short run average total cost. Oh, something confusing. Yeah, short run total cost is short run average total cost, or you may call it short run average cost, is never less than long run average cost. Do you agree with this? Do you agree with this statement? True or false? Is it true? Short run average cost never less than long run average cost. Is it true?
False, ma'am.
False. Why false? Explain why you are telling it as false.
Ma'am, in short run, there is only cost for labor, and in long run, there is cost for both capital and labor,
So
which is variable.
they are not talking about cost for labor or capital. They are talking about average cost and short run and long run average cost.
Have to work it out.
This is true. This
Ma'am,
is
in the
true.
long run, we can adjust the costs, but in the short run, we cannot, so it should be true.
No, look at this diagram. This is the diagram for envelope curve. Here you have the long run average cost curve and different short run average cost. If look, logically also, this diagram is showing clearly that the statement is true. Short run average cost is always equal or greater than long run average. This is first thing. Now come back to the question, is never less than, yes, in that sense. And another thing, if somehow short run average cost is less, then long run average cost will follow this path. No? Because long run average is actually the combination of the short run average cost curve, right? This is how we did it. This is how we did this one. Yes. Look, if short run for a particular production, if short run SSE1 is less than SSE2, then we are following SSE1 in long run. If SSE2 is less than SSE1, then we are going for SSE2. So in the long run, we have the option to choose, right? So if SSE is less, somehow is less than this, then long run will follow that less path. So it is not possible for SSE to be less than LSE. Logically also, it is not possible. So the statement is true. Now look at question number 2. If long run average, again that confusion, long run total cost curve, okay fine. Long run total cost curve is linear, okay? If long run total cost curve is linear, the corresponding average and marginal cost will decline continuously. True?
Yes, true.
This is also true. Long run total cost curve is linear. Okay. Linear, maybe it is parallel to the horizontal axis, or maybe average cost, it may fall, it may increase, whatever, but it is a linear, that means a straight line. So along the straight line, if you are moving, then your slope is falling continuously now. If you are moving along the straight line, then your slope is falling continuous. So then it is decline, and accordingly your average cost. I hope I did this type of example here. Let me check. Actually আমিও ভুলে গেছি করেছি কিনা।
ওই তো আগেরটাতে ছিল।
কোনটা বলো তো? এটা?
হ্যাঁ, এটা তো সিআরএস, এখান থেকে টোটাল কস্ট ডিরাইভ করে দেখিয়ে দিন।
হ্যাঁ, এখান থেকে করলেও হয়, এখান থেকে করলেও হয়। So this is the expansion path. Actually this is for the expansion path derivation, but from here also you can find this section. Okay, so if the long run total cost curve is linear, then corresponding average and marginal cost curve will decline continuously. Look here, this is the expansion path. So that will be the total cost. As I said, the expansion path is nothing but the total cost. So here the total cost is a linear one. So you can get your marginal cost. It is falling continuously and the average cost is falling continuously. So they can decline.
Ma'am,
Yes.
for a straight line, how will the slope fall continuously?
No,
If it is an upward sloping straight line.
No. If it is upward sloping, it will not fall. But if it is parallel to the horizontal axis, then it will fall.
But then the slope will be zero. How is it
No.
falling?
Just a minute.
ম্যাম স্লোপ জিরো হবে না, হরাইজন্টাল হবে না। ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে দের ইজ সিআরএস না, তো সিআরএস হলে দের উইল বি ডিক্রিজিং রিটার্নস টু ফ্যাক্টর নেসেসারিলি। কনসেপ্টটা ওখান থেকে, আই থিঙ্ক সো।
আচ্ছা দেখছি, দাঁড়াও আরেকবার ভাবি। কোথায় গেল দূর বাবা। If the long run total cost curve is linear, the corresponding average and marginal cost will decline continuously. Yes, if it is a linear, one, then it is CRS. Yes, long run average cost linear means it is CRS. Now if CRS means what? CRS means the change in output is equal to the change in input. Okay, that is the definition of CRS. So in that case your marginal cost, no, in that case the marginal cost is constant. In that case the marginal cost is constant. Now for CRS the marginal cost is constant, your average cost is falling.
Yes, ma'am.
ম্যাম মার্জিনাল কস্ট দ্যাট ইজ determined from decreasing returns to factor, মানে we take the marginal cost like that.
Yes,
we analyze marginal cost in terms of returns to factor, not scale. See, if LSE is falling, LMC will be necessarily falling.
clear to me as well. দাঁড়াও
DLSE DQ is equal to LMC minus LAC by Q. So if
দাঁড়া কি বলছো এক মিনিট DLSC DQ
DLSE DQ is equal to LMC minus LAC whole divided by Q.
আচ্ছা
So if LAC is falling, LMC will be also falling and it will be less than LAC curve. Lie below the LAC curve.
আচ্ছা আমি আসলে এরকম একটা ভাবছিলাম জাস্ট আ মিনিট একটা আছে না ব্ল্যাঙ্ক স্লাইড হ্যাঁ আমি আসলে এরকম একটা ভাবছিলাম যে ধরো let me try to draw so this is the thing and this is my LSC this is my LSC so if this is my LSC then what is my TC TC is like this do you agree
Yes,
if
yes.
this is my AC they are talking about AC right yes this is my AC and so this is my TC okay so what is the question just tell me the question again I just forgot it's very difficult
Ma'am,
And for a linear total cost, will the average cost and marginal cost will decline continuously?
Linear total cost okay for a linear total cost average cost look if your TC is like this eta abar ki holo if this is the linear total cost so my average cost is a continuous one it is parallel to the horizontal axis and my marginal cost is also a continuous one constant marginal cost is a constant one so they will not decline I am also a bit confused I am also
okay ma'am I will send it in the group after the class that it can decline with proof
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে শেয়ার করো দেখি
okay ma'am
so Pranjal is going to share his answer
I'll try I'll try I think
okay
so because
no issue yes this is the
because
phase of life.
I just read this concept yesterday only so I think I'm confident with it
okay fine very good share your answer then we will see okay, so we are waiting for the answer for this section so let me go to the next part
Ma'am, we missed one question, number D.
No? We have discussed about this up to this part. Is the farm's expansion path always linear? We discussed this section, na?
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
So we discussed it. Look at this. The average product of labor when 3 workers farm an acre of land is no question. The average product of labor when 3 workers farm an acre of land is 150 bushels of wheat and the marginal product when fourth worker is employed is 75 bushels. What is the total output for 4 workers? This is very simple. 3 workers are producing this. Okay, the average product is this. Then the 3 workers are producing 150 into 3. So that is the total product by first 3 workers. Okay, and the 4th worker is giving 75. So 150 into 3 plus 75. That will be the total output of 4 workers. So very simple. There is no economics. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what is the minimum efficient scale of production in the long run average cost? What is the minimum efficient scale of production that we have already discussed? What is the minimum efficient scale of production in the long run average cost? That means just at the minimum of the LSC curve where we are getting the CRS. Here, Determine whether the following production functions exhibit increasing, decreasing, or constant returns to scale. First one is CRS, right? First one is CRS, because if you increase labor and capital by lambda proportion, your Q will increase by lambda. So it is CRS. What about B? K to the power 0.3, L to the power 0.5.
Ma'am, DRS.
It is DRS. It is DRS because if you increase L and K by lambda proportion, then Q will increase by lambda to the power 0.8, which is less than 1. So it is DRS, decreasing returns to scale. Because that alpha and beta, the summation is not equal to 1, it is less than 1. So it is DRS. Next question was from the perfect competition. So I'm going to the next part. Here comes. Consider a production function where Q is the total output, L is the quantity of labor employed. How does total product curve look like? Very simple. It's a straight line through origin. If L is 0, Q is also 0. And it is increasing at the constant rate of 150. So can you describe the corresponding average product and marginal product? Yes, the average product is Q by L, that is 150. And marginal product is DQDL, which is equal to क्या बे?
150.
Yes. So average product is equal to marginal product is equal to 150. Now decompose the effect of change in relative price into income and substitution effect when two goods are perfect substitute. For that you have to draw the diagram. Perfect substitute means the isoquant will be just like isocost. It's a downward sloping straight line. When two goods are perfect substitutes. বাবা এটা কোত্থেকে এলো? এটা তো consumer behavior question. Decompose the effect of change in relative price into income and substitution in two goods. Oh, this is a question, huh? This is a question from consumer behavior, huh? That we did that. So forget. Come to the next one. By government regulation, suppose a farm must have to pay a fixed amount of tax every year, independent of whether it produces anything or not. Acha. How does it affect farms' fixed, marginal, and average total cost? Fixed cost is definitely affected by the amount of tax because this is independent of the output level. Marginal cost is the change in total cost divided by change in total output that is not influenced by the tax, because marginal cost is related with the variable cost. It is not related with the fixed cost. When you are going to differentiate your fixed cost, that will be 0. So marginal cost is not influenced by the tax. The average total cost, average cost is definitely, average cost means the total cost divided by the output produced. So in that total cost, you have this cost, tax amount. Okay, so fixed cost divided by total output, there comes the problem. So your average cost will increase. Average cost will increase by tax divided by quantity produced, that amount. Okay. If that tax is proportional to the quantity of output the farm produce, how it will affect fixed, marginal, and average total cost? বলো দেখি এই আনসারটা। That part is independent of output produced and the last part is dependent on the output produced. Then how it is influencing fixed, marginal, and average cost? Fixed cost is not influenced by the second part of tax. Marginal cost is influenced because it is changed by additionally by the proportion of the tax. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the average cost? Average cost? This is something confusing. Average total cost. People may confused. But this is actually the average cost, which we are talking about. Average cost is here. Average cost.
Ma'am, it will also affect average cost.
It will influence, definitely it will influence because your total cost is influenced. The total cost, once your total cost is affected, then your average cost must be influenced. Because your average cost is total cost divided by the total cost is the fixed cost plus variable cost plus the tax rate into Q, because it is the tax proportional to the output divided by Q. So here comes the tax effect on the average cost. You have to write those values, then it will be easy to explain.
Ma'am, that one,
Yes.
that will be LAC equal to LMC, both will be horizontal.
Which one?
That one,
Also,
both
that
are,
is what I am telling you now. So here it is not decreasing, it is a constant one.
both are constant.
Yes, so that is what I am telling you.
CRS, yes, yes.
If it is CRS, both are constant, they are not falling.
And at DRS, they both are falling. I just worked it out.
DRS is not the question. CRS is coming. DRS is not so important. You know, the questions are coming either from IRS or from CRS. Again, the same type of question. Does the following production function diminishing marginal productivity principle and diminishing returns to scale? First of all, a diminishing marginal productivity principle. That means whether MPL and MPK, they are falling or not. That you have to check. And diminishing returns to scale means you have to change L and K and then check. No, it is a constant returns to scale. It is a production function with CRS. Look, alpha plus beta is equal to 1. 0.6 plus 0.4. So that will be 1. So it is CRS. It is not diminishing returns to scale. And regarding diminishing marginal productivity, you have to find MPL and MPK and check whether they are falling or not. Again, same type of question. Can you think of a situation in which short-run marginal cost is less than long-run marginal cost? No, it is not possible. I don't think it is possible. Just a minute. It's a marginal cost. Yes. For average cost, it is not possible, but for marginal cost, it is possible. And it is in your Pindyck and Rubenfeld. Just check the diagram, the derivation of LMC from SMC. There you will get the diagram. It's quite possible that your SMC is less than your LMC because LMC is taking just a single point from your SMC. All other points may be up or down. So this is true. So I did the discussion session, question discussion, whatever question I have right now, I discussed from university and the model question paper. I have some questions from different books that I have uploaded in your LMS. Have you got? Have you received this question? I have uploaded this yesterday or day before yesterday. Have you received those questions from college LMS? Are you checking it regularly?
Ma'am, we will check that out. I have not checked yet.
Okay. So these questions are from different textbooks. Okay. Those are there from different textbooks. So remember, tomorrow I am going to take double period. It will start from 12:30. It will end at 2:30. And I will revise production and chapter slides. Whichever slide I have prepared to take your class and I have discussed those slides already, I am going to discuss it again. So that if you have any query, any doubt, any question which you right now forgot, you can ask at that time. Okay?
Ma'am, tomorrow it's ma'am's class.
When?
12:30 to 1:30.
So do I have a class with you or not?
No, ma'am.
Tomorrow, okay, no, just a minute. Wait for a minute. Oh, tomorrow I have a class with Sem 5. Just a minute. Yes, it will end at 1:30. So, okay, fine. I will take a single class after 1:30. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So, I will take a single class of Sem 3 tomorrow, which will start from 1:30 and will end at 2:30. Huh? And on Friday, I have a class with you, which will start from 11:15. That I am not going to take. Okay. So Friday I will not take the class. In exchange of that, tomorrow I will take that class from 1:30. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.